Spain holidays where we went to Menorca together. So we always used to go to Menorca when we were in our early 20s. Sometimes we still do with our best friend because she has a house there. And we used to always go together and stay at this friend's house where we would hang out, party, go to the beach, and do all the things that, of course, young, fun girls do. And one day, I think it's like 4 years ago, we went to Menorca and we decided to go to the beach, and there's one infamous road that you always have to take to get away from where my friend lives to where everything else basically is located at. I'm gonna show this other side some love as well. Yeah, beautiful, luscious hair. So, anyway, what we used to do is we would decide in the morning where we were gonna go, and then we would have a rented car where we would go to different beaches and then go out at night with said car. Of course, nobody would be drinking. That is driving. I think I'm gonna braid it. Gonna make you a little braid. That's cute. So that morning we decided we would go to the beach. And on the way there, our friend was telling us a story about how this road was very infamous. Like somebody had an accident there. And ever since, people reported to see a ghostly figure of a woman standing by the road at night. They would call her Donna de las Curvas. And this apparition, you would only see, what was it? Was there a lore? Like when you would die or when something bad was gonna happen to you or something like that? I'm not sure anymore. I think it was something like that, like you would only see her if something like bad news or something was going to come your way. Well, I hope not. Well, it's 4 years ago, so. Anyway, so we would go, and when she told us this story, we were driving to the beach in the morning, so we pretty quickly forgot about it. Had some fun at the beach. We would tan and like look at the beautiful beaches and have fun taking pictures and stuff like that. And at night we decided we would go out to eat in the center of the city, Mahon, that is on Menorca, that we would go for dinner, and then we would have drinks, of course the ones who would not be driving, and then we would go back to our place. So what happened? I'm parting my hair very bad. I've never done this before, and I know she wouldn't want me to really part it, so look at all this baby hair. Growing. I think I'm just gonna brush it. Gonna poke her with it later. Anyway, so we would go. So we went there, and on the way, we all had, like I said, forgotten about the legend of La Donna de las Curvas, and we didn't think much of it. We went was our thing. We would always play it over there in the streets like lunatics. And like I said, when the people that were driving, like our friend, she was not drinking anything. And then we went back home like super happy, having a lot of fun, blasting music in the car and singing along to the songs that were popular in Spain and Europe during that time. I think it was something with City Lights that was playing. All of a sudden she went pale and stopped singing along, and we were like, what the hell just happened? And she was like, "Donde te las curvas?" And we were all like frantically, like, you know, like a bee's nest. Everyone was like scrambling and like, where, oh my god, except for the driver that didn't get anything anymore, didn't like, she couldn't understand what was happening. It was just the driving. Thank God she was not spooked by it and caused an accident or anything. And we didn't all see it, but she saw it. Clearly it looked like... What did it look like?
Well, it just looked like... Oh, at first I didn't really even get it because it was like just like a figure. I thought it was just a person at the beginning. But then, I don't know, she had like a white dress on, like dark hair, and came out of nowhere, like super scary, but I just saw her like for a few seconds. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So then, that's the time we saw a ghost on the side of the road. Nothing bad happened after it. Well, no, that was a year later. Oh my god. Where our friend's mother broke her foot.
Oh my god, yeah.
Well, I mean, nothing very, very bad happened. So, tingly. Are you getting tingle, 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 tingles? So, I think we should maybe brush her hair a little bit. A little bit. Well, I tell you another story that happened to us. Well, I'm not sure if I should go for the one that did not happen to us, but they're kind of like intertwined. So I'm going to tell a story that our teacher back in high school told us. One of it, I'm not gonna tell you which one, because she always told very creepy stories. She used to be a teacher in Mexico when she was younger, and then she moved to Switzerland where we are living now, and she was our high school teacher for English at our private school. And she was something else. I loved her. She was so lovely, great woman. She always had the best stories, and she believed in Navajo and Native American folklore and culture a lot, since she kind of grew up with it. And she always used to tell creepy stories that she had encountered or experienced herself when she was living in Mexico and the US, specifically Arizona. Shout out to Arizona if you're watching from there. So, we always used to do PE that was a little bit, let's say, creative. So, we always used to do things like hike in the woods and it's called Vida Park over here, which is basically a park making your hair all electric and so. And there are different little exercising things you have to do while you're at each different spot that is designed for this beta parkour thing. I don't know if that exists anywhere else in the world or how you would call that, so I can't really describe it better. And then we used to do this trail, and then we used to hang out in the woods and talk a little bit before we would head back to school. So we went into the forest, and we didn't really run that day at all. We were all kind of tired, so she decided she would just do a meditation session where she would, I don't know how it's called in English, but you have this like pendulum where you can ask questions, like will I get married or whatever the question is, and you have to calibrate it first. I don't know if that's correct. And to see when it says yes and when it says no. Like maybe it turns like this and it says yes, and like this it says no, and you ask them basic questions that you do before. Then you ask the questions that you want to. So we did that, and of course it was a bunch of BS. So, well, I actually believe in mediums and the paranormal, but not in this pendulum thing. It was never right. I do. You do. Okay. It was never correct when I did it, so anyway, after that, we kind of had like a campfire going on, and she was telling us stories of her time in Arizona. Should I go for the one with the church?
Yeah, that one's super creepy.
Okay, but that was in New Mexico, I think.
I'm not sure anymore.
Okay. Are you able to relax a little bit? Or is it creepy? Creepy. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm gonna tell the one with the church. It's shorter and creepy. So, she told us that she used to be a teacher in Mexico, like I said. Or New Mexico, I'm not so sure. It must be Mexico though. In Mexico City. And they always did field trips with the class that she had. And these students that she had were small, like only 10 to 12 years old, I think. So she used to go on field trips with them, and on that day they decided to go to a church. I'm gonna braid another strand of your hair. I'm gonna part it first. Part it first. I'm gonna get one in the back. So, on that day, they had planned to go on a field trip and to a church, to visit a church. Now, it's over 10 years ago that she told us this story. Maybe even over 20 years ago. So I can't exactly remember what church it was, but it was a famous one that they wanted to write something about in an English class that they have. And so they went to visit this specific church. Now there was one girl in the group that would always be scared of churches. I know that already doesn't start real good because that sounds like demonic possession to me. So yeah. not physically enter a church or any holy ground, like not even a cemetery, because if she would, something bad would happen. And at first our teacher thought that she was like exaggerating and that she didn't want to enter the church because she didn't want to go on this field trip. But being in Mexico, where everyone is more kind of on the religious side, she was kind of astonished that preschooler or no elementary school kid would not want to visit a church because they are usually still very religious. So she would ask her, I'm gonna undo it again, why she wouldn't want to enter the church. And she said, I just physically can't. I'm scared. I always get rashes and scratches all over my body when I enter a church. And my teacher, you know, she believed in the paranormal and everything, but she thought that was a little bit creepy and maybe also far-fetched, because, like, you know, nobody thinks that like a little kid would get like scratches from entering a church. So she was like, you know what, we are all with you, just try to like at least try to enter it so we can go inside together, and if anything bad happens, we're all here and we are going to help you. Because she thought it was imagination, or like, you know, this one thing she dreamt once or whatever. I mean, you wouldn't really think that that's going to happen. So she kind of forced her, but not really forced, like just incentivized her to still try and enter the church. And she agreed because, of course, she wanted to join the others. And she said that the moment this child entered the grounds, the grounds, the grounds, the grounds of the church, she started screaming, like squealing at the top of her lungs, and she started crying and falling to the ground, and everyone was like super shocked and they didn't know what was happening. They did not know what was happening, and she had to exit the church again with our teacher. And when she took her to the side outside the grounds of the church and asked her what the problem was, well, guys, well, she saw what the problem was, let's say, because this little girl pushed back the sleeves. Pushed back the sleeves. Pushed back the sleeves. Pushed back the sleeves. And there were long, super thin claw marks, like what you would get if I scratched, you know. No. But like super thin, cat-like streams that were also bleeding. Your trigger word, bleeding. Down the side of her arms and legs. So obviously our teacher was super shocked. was much, much, much more creepy. And because she knew all the details and everything that kid told her, and I can't remember everything clearly anymore. Put this behind your ear, behind your ear, behind your ear.
Plus, they were also very scary because we were sitting in the middle of the woods.
Yes. And it was not dark outside, but it was still super creepy. And you know what happened, guys? At the end, when she was telling stories like that, and she was like, keep telling stories like that, like one after the other, all of a sudden we hear rustling inside, like the bushes behind, rustling behind us, and we were like, what was that? But we were keeping quiet, but like, what was that? And then all of a sudden, I kid you not, like I can still see this scene behind before my eyes, and we all swear we saw it. Like everyone who was there, we swear we saw it. An antler, like a huge, huge antler, just stood in our little circle. Just like this, like you are far from me, like one, like we could have touched it if we would have wanted to. I was like right there, staring at us, and we were all like too stunned to speak, and we were just like, what is that? And yeah, then it just looked at us and quietly walked away, and I will never forget that. We were so scared after that. We packed our things and we left, and our teacher was like, yeah, that's a sign and whatever, we have to leave the forest now. And we were like, yep, we are leaving this forest right now.
We're like, no problem.
Like, yeah, we're out, thank you, no.
Even though the deer was cute.
Yeah, but still it was super creepy. I mean, that's not usual behavior for
For a deer,
an antler, so
Oh yeah, antlers are.
we are like, we're leaving